Hey, got a question for you as always.
As always. What's the question, babe?
Question. We've heard the phrase, what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours. But does that apply to personal belongings?
Are there personal belongings?
Let's talk about that and much more here on this episode of Couples Pursuit Live.
Yes.
Couples Pursuit.
Hello, this is Vincent
And Valerie
Woodard. And on this episode of Couples Pursuit,
we're going to talk about a question. Should spouses have access to one another's phones?
Interesting.
Here, let me see your phone, babe.
see how you put on with this. That's the whole video up. There you go.
Absolutely. It should just be that easy. If my husband needs to see my phone is dead or whatever, I can pick his phone up and use it. We know each other's codes. We tell each other's codes, and there is no issue.
Yeah.
I don't have an account. I don't have an app that looks like a calculator that I had things in it that I don't want him to see. You know, they have all those things.
Yeah.
And vice versa. But yeah.
Yeah.
The short answer is yes. Yes.
The long answer is, why don't you?
Why not?
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Look, we're so glad to have you here with us on Couples Pursuit. Our goal is to give you the tools and strategies to pursue and maintain a successful relationship. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Look, we urge you, if you get something out of this episode, to smash that like button and share this episode with someone that you know. So I think in general, a lot of people have mixed emotions about this, because I don't think it's so much about the surface question, like should spouses have access to each other's phones. I think it's more so, like we discussed earlier, why don't I have access to your phone, or why wouldn't a person have access to another person's phone? And that is where we're kind of bringing this episode to, because in general, yes, we believe that you should have access to each other's phone, especially in emergencies. If something happens and one person doesn't have their phone, they may need your phone. Or if there's a close contact, when something happens, to a loved one, that you may need to get in contact with some other. Because in general, baby, I don't remember a lot of people's phone numbers.
Most people don't these days.
I could not.
I don't know mom's. I don't know.
Yeah,
my mother-in-law's phone number by heart.
Yeah. I wouldn't know.
I have it in my phone, but
I know where to begin. I know I could probably reach the ones phone numbers that I do know,
right?
And say, hey, do you
have this number? Well, babe, here's a question that I have, and this is probably, to me, this is, I guess the more pressing question is, should spouses be restricted from one another's phones?
Well, see, there we go. I think we're talking more so access to your phone. Should they have access to your phone? Yes. But we learned a long time ago, that's why I urge a lot of people to go to pre-marital counseling, any kind of marital counselor, pre-marital, in-marital, whatever.
Post-marital.
Yeah, that's necessary. We
that's
know.
After divorce.
Yeah, that's all. But even necessary to learn how to interact with each other, because we learned some valuable nuggets and tools that we still carry forth with us. The pastor that married us, he told me, he said, look, there's really no need for you to have to go in your wife's pocketbook. Your wife asks you for her pocketbook, you bring her pocketbook. You don't really have to go in there and grab anything, because as a man, sometimes we can read so much into things that are not there. I know men probably say, well, women do the same thing, but her pocketbook is wide open, and it's so much in there. It's so much in there. And so
he's right.
You can see numbers, whatever, and you can just be like, I wonder why does she have? What's this for? What is she going with that? What is she? And
when did she buy this?
Really
I don't know. Yeah.
To go down a wormhole that you should never have even ventured upon in the first place. So that piece of a nugget to just say, look, if your wife asks you for a pocketbook, just bring it to her, and that just helps. Hey, I don't have to go through your pocketbook. I think that's the thing. I don't I shouldn't be.
You don't feel a reason to go through.
I wonder what's going on. Or
she's in the bathroom. Here's an opportunity to look and see.
Yeah.
Who she's been talking to, or what's in her purse. But you know what's funny about that? You mentioned that maybe you told me that before, but I don't have a problem with him going in my purse. I don't.
He didn't tell you that?
Nope. I didn't get that piece of advice. And if he told us, I wasn't listening.
You know, all these years, baby, I was supposed to bring your whole pocketbook every time you ask me for something.
I know, and I'm like, babe, you could just get it. It's right there on top. And he's like, nope. He didn't say no. He just brings it to me like he never heard me say, go ahead and go into it. But to be honest, I have gone through my husband's wallet before. When we were going through a rough time, and I was like, you know, and I said to the Lord, I said, what if he's cheating on me? And the Lord said, what if he is?
Oh, wow.
I was like, what?
My goodness.
Do you remember I told you that?
Yes, I remember.
I don't think you really believed me when I told you. It was like, what if he is? And just to sidestep that, it's like we put roadblocks in our own way sometimes, and we create the line in the sand. Well, if he crossed this line, that's it. It's over. Well, then we believe in God. We believe in faith. We believe in light and darkness, and we believe in God's truth. And everything is going to try to come up against you, your marriage, to separate you, because it's God's plan for you to be. God loves marriage, and He honors marriage. And so for us to set up these boundaries, most of what's going on is in our minds anyway. It's how we're thinking and feeling about a thing that hasn't happened yet. And if it happens, this is what I'm going to do. And so the thing we imagine is often worse than the thing that is actually happening, right?
Yes.
And so I felt so silly. This was Rocky Mount, early years of marriage. And there was nothing in his wallet. I was that girl.
I'm just being.
And I was like, this is dumb. You know, nothing. There was nothing there. And I knew, just like I knew that time I read you that Bible verse. One time I was upset with him, and I read him about a Bible verse about how he's supposed to treat me, and God wasn't happy with me about doing that. I did it anyway, and it backfired. We just got farther apart. He got more frustrated. But what I'm trying to get at is the fact that we don't need to mistrust one another in such a way. And now we're so far from that. There was nothing for him to find in my purse. Obviously, I didn't find anything in his wallet. And the truth of the matter is, if something is going on, if we pay attention to our spouse, that's going to tell us more than what's in their purse or what's in their phone. That's
true. That's the root of the conversation that you should be having with your spouse, or you should aim to and strive to get to. Why can't I have access to your phone? Like what fears, what am I hiding? Are you afraid of?
Yeah.
Or are you afraid of this? Someone else have access to your phone and they took some money out your checking account, or why? Let's get to like the why. And if it's what you think it is, your fear, like you just don't trust me, then why don't you trust me? What can I believe those are the questions you really need to get to when you have spaces where that are blocked from you, are blocked from your access, and what I mean by that is that you're supposed to be one,
right?
When you're together, you're supposed to be one, and now we are setting up, cones, like,
boundaries, barriers.
Yeah. And now I just want to understand why is this here? Why is this? What are you restricting me from? What are you blocking me from? Because there are such things as healthy barriers. There's sometimes you don't want like someone to touch you and fondle you. Just any, when you're on your cycle or whatever. There are certain times where, you know what, baby, I don't like when you talk like that. I don't like when you do this action right here. So
you mean as far as like PDA, like just affection, touching, not actually like intimacy during those times.
Yeah.
Some people feel differently. Can I challenge you to do something right now? Okay. I want you to respond for the rest of this session as the restricted, and I'll respond as the restrictor. Because what I want to know is, what I want people to understand is that the person who is doing the restricting, what's your motivation? And the person who is being restricted, what is your response? How do you feel about that? So can you speak to that from the restricted person's point of view? Let's say,
baby, can I see your phone?
Well, why do you need to see my phone?
Oh, I think you got the number to someone that I know, and I just.
Well, I'll give it to you. Whatever number you need. You don't need to look through my phone.
Oh, okay. Well, did I do something? Like.
No, I mean, but do you want the number or not?
I do want the number, but you seem like kind of agitated when I asked for your phone. Are you not trust me?
Well, it's not that I don't trust you, but I mean, you have your own phone. If you want the number, just, right? I mean, we can just go back and forth, back and forth. What is the thing? I don't want him to have my phone. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I forgot what I wanted the phone for.
You want somebody's number, right?
There you go.
And sure, maybe if you've seen Why Did I Get Married Too? Or was it the first one? It was the first one, Why Did I Get Married? And she's like, do you have the password to your husband's phone? The ladies are talking and they're like, well, yeah, and she's like, well, he won't give me the password to his phone. And she is just like extra and going in and, just angry and trying to trick him. And he had cheated on her before. And so she was mistrusting of him.
Yes.
With good reason. She was also a lot.
Yeah, she was.
Tasha,
yeah,
was the name of her character, but she was a lot, and she didn't trust him, and so she barked and she pushed, and it wasn't about the phone. It was about the fact that she didn't trust him. She didn't feel safe. She didn't feel secure with him.
And also, I think in that movie, I think it depicted some facts that she was insecure in herself. Like she knows he was a built dude. He played football. He probably could walk down the street and if he really wanted to approach someone, he can probably get someone and take somebody and get to win their affection. And she might have been. Like in the movie, I think it kind of portrayed that she was kind of a little bit insecure.
She was aggressive, and she was insecure because he had cheated, and not only that, she cheated.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had cheated. So the very thing that she was trying to get access to, it was like, you're trying to trap him or trying to catch him in a lie when you're actually the one who is a perpetrator.
That's true.
And I mean, this is kind of deep and serious. A serious moment in the movie where she actually she brought home a venereal disease in trying to retaliate against him. But what I want you all to get out of that little exchange and the example that I'm giving you from the movie is that it's not about the phone.
Yeah.
It's not about the phone. It's about whether your partner trusts you. And they might nag you about the phone because they don't trust you.
Yeah.
Because you're not honest with them, because you're sneaky, because you're not transparent. Maybe you don't come home. Maybe you're not doing anything, but you don't communicate with them.
That's right.
And so then it's like, well, he's in the bathroom, so let me see who is this person or that person.
Yeah.
And then you start digging.
Yeah.
And asking questions.
And this title could have easily been replaced with, she's about to have access to each other's hearts, to each other's just feelings and thoughts, and access to each other's pocketbooks, access to each other's wallets, to a space, the car, whatever it is, just something that someone can have a possessive tone with. And they can say, well, this is my car, this is my laptop, this is my tablet, and what can I have?
Why you need my password?
Yeah.
Why not?
So where are we going? Where are we hiding?
Right. And
some people might argue the fact that, okay, well, it's mine. I paid good money for it. I should have something to myself. Well, you know what? I beg to differ. I beg to ask the question, why did you get married in the first place?
Back to the movie. Why did you get married?
It's hard to have emotional intimacy when you're always throwing blocks and obstacles in each other's path. And I think one of those things of hindering closeness with your spouse is an obstacle to emotional intimacy. I believe deep down inside that what you're hiding is not so much the tablet or the phone, but you're hiding that I don't want to let that person like this close.
Access.
Yeah.
You're restricting access to you. And I was going to say earlier, when you said heart, if I have full access to your heart, I'm not worried about your phone.
Yeah.
And that's really the deal. I don't worry about where you're going and if you're coming back. Now, if you hours difference, you're coming home hours later than you normally do, I'm like, we send a wamba. For us, a wamba, and I get a wamba more than he does. And wamba is an acronym for where my baby at. That's ebonical. It is. It's not. It could be where is my baby, but that's not
where my baby at. That's it. I mean,
that's a wimb.
I want to know
a wamba.
And it's not like I don't trust her. I just miss her. I came home and I was expecting her to be home, and she likes to bargain. Patrol. I ain't gonna say shop. Sometimes you don't even come home with nothing. You just like that.
Like, nope.
I know there is a bargain over there.
I didn't find it today.
It's so
true. I'm not gonna pay what I don't think it's worth. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not cheap.
At those moments, I send what we call a wamba. Where my baby at?
He sends out the bat signal. Where is she? And I'll be like, oh, babe, I'm on my way home. I'll be there in a few, or I'm doing this and that and the other thing. But it's also care and concern, because we know one another's routine. And so if my husband is 2 hours after the time he got off work, babe, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Did you have something to do? Are you good? And he might say, well, this or that happened. I got out of work late and blah, blah, blah. Normally, we are really good with letting each other know. I do kind of get lost in sauce sometimes.
And sometimes, I just, I'm in work and then I'm figuring out what I'm going to do. And I got one or two things that I look at price comparison, then I go to that place if I can't find it on the phone. And sometimes I do get lost in that. I want to go to this store and I want to go to that store.
Yeah.
But we're really trying to portray or really drive home the point that what are you really hiding, or what are you really restricting access to? Now, is it really about the phone, or is it really about the tablet? It's really about the wallet.
It's not. I'm gonna say it's no. I'm gonna say no for the restricted and the restrictor. It's not about that.
Yeah.
The restrictor is hiding. I have something to hide, and whether that is the fact that I don't really trust you. Maybe you're gonna see conversation in my phone about how I am communicating,
or search history.
Search history. Yeah, how I'm communicating about you to someone else. Who have I talked to? Maybe it's a person that is safe for me, but you don't necessarily care for the communication. Well, we're just friends, and I don't want to have to explain that we're just friends because you really don't like this person or we've had history. Well, there's an error. Because it's forsaking all others. If your spouse has an issue with someone that you're communicating with, unless your spouse is a maniac, a control freak, an abusive person who's trying to keep you, alienate you from your family, friends, and loved ones, that is a thing. Unless that's what's happening, that's not okay.
Hey, Eric is checking in. We appreciate you so much. And also, when we was talking about...
Tell us how you feel, Eric. We want your opinion.
We were talking about phones. Yes. When we was talking about tablets or whatever that you're restricting access. When I got my phone, I changed my phone, my password.
Yeah.
So I want you to open the phone.
Yeah, he brings it to me so I can say, he says, this is it. Open it. Yeah. And you even let our daughter open it.
Yeah.
So what if something happened to you while she was with you?
Yeah.
Or, vice versa. What is there to hide?
Yeah, I'm thinking about really all those things that when something breaks out, that's not the time to be like, oh man, I can't call nobody that can let him know if he has to go. If I say something, maybe you have to call my job. I can't go to work.
Who do I talk to? Who do I call? Well, I don't know.
I got a label in my phone, and I really have the names and who they are beside them. That's how I save my contacts or whatever. But if she can't get in here, then
I have to search.
Yeah.
And security, you guys, is not for... It's like when someone gets a firearm in their house. We won't start that conversation because people have all kinds of opinions and feelings about that. But you get your firearm for security. Those who have it, hopefully they have it for security. Not against your family. Not against your spouse.
That's true.
Not against your loved ones. It's for outsiders. So passwords, firewalls, all that protection That's for the person that might steal my phone, might steal my purse, so they don't have access to my information. That's for the stranger. You know, that's for the person who's looking over my shoulder. And if I put my phone down while I go to get my coffee, and they feel like they want to snatch it or whatever, it's not for your loved ones.
That's right. That's right.
That's not what it's for.
It can be useful to for your spouse to have access to your phone. We described a couple of instances where it's really actually beneficial. It can help you, might save your life. You know, they might not know your doctor's name. I remember, just, it's so many things, not just talking about phones. We started with phone because that's just, sometimes some people want to hold on to that. No, you can't have access to my phone. I know you can't have access to my phone. Well, you know what? My wife, I have a folder on my desktop that has all information, insurance. You know, maybe I'm telling too much, but what I'm trying to drive home here is
that's important.
That your loved one needs to have access to those sensitive pieces of information
in emergency,
because you really just never ever know what can happen, and then how competent you are at the time, like how able you are able to. Are you conscious? Yeah.
Are you lucid? If you are conscious, you know, and God forbid, when a person has a stroke, they lose, and people are like, oh, well, that's far-fetched. Well, if you're married, you're one. If something happens to him, I would hate for the barrier between. What if my phone is dead? Yeah. You know, what if we're taking one of those drives, or we're on vacation, we're at the beach, we're doing whatever, we're off somewhere remote, and we don't have the access that we need because we're so concerned about whether our spouse is going to know something about us. I should know. He should know. And that doesn't take away your anonymity. My husband doesn't. He can have, here's my phone. Here, babe. You can go through there. You can call anybody. You can talk to anybody you want to. It's not a problem for me because I don't have anything to hide.
And that's, I think a lot of times, that's where we make it a sensitive subject. Is that there's something in there that person might see that could be taken what you would say the wrong way, or it could be taken the way that it was presented.
For instance, some months ago, there was, when someone approaches me, I tell my husband, if someone and I don't tell him every single thing, you know, but if someone comes into my space, I let him know. If there's a private communication that takes place, whether it be Facebook Messenger, whatever it is, and someone is saying something to me, a male, especially if it's like somebody that's reaching out, a friend request, or someone from the past high school group. Oh, hey, how you doing? And they might throw in a beautiful, you still look good, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm doing good, dude. How are you? You know, how's it going? My husband and I live in North Carolina now. We've been here so I'm going to insert that. And if a person wants to pursue or ensue a conversation, it has to be pure. And if it doesn't go, if it's not going into a place that's pure, I want him to know, this knucklehead, look, babe.
He tried it.
Look what he said. And this is what I said to him. I cut it off. And there's never a question about what happened. No one's ever going to come back and tell my husband that I said or I did anything that he is not privy to.
That's right.
Guess what? Canceled. You know? And why not be of that mindset? Because again, as me portraying the restrictor in this, sometimes there's something in us that wants to hold on to what we enjoyed about other people. How they make us feel, how they compliment us, how, et cetera, fill in the blank. All of it is absolutely out of order. Whatever you need, you should be able to communicate that to your spouse. And just because you don't get it from your spouse does not give you the license to go and get it from someone else.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
I think we've talked about just past the surface area of should your spouse have access to your phone. Yes. Because of the fact it's not just the phone that we're talking about here. We're talking about access to past the barrier, whatever barrier you set up, and if you set up a barrier, why? Let's address it, that part. And what are you restricting access to? You
Yeah, what's
understand?
off limits?
Yeah, what's off, and let's talk about that. And so I hope, man, this is a great conversation. Let me see if
anybody
any question
responded.
This is so
Y'all
good.
tell us
so
what you
good.
think. Do you think it's okay for your spouse to have access to your phone? Just put a Y or N in the comment.
Yeah.
A thumbs up or a thumbs down. Have you ever been in that situation? And it's not always the man who is hiding or restricting access. Like I'm not that person. I'm not that person that will go shopping and hide my bags in the closet. That kind of girl. I used to tell him so much. I was like, babe, I got this, but I got it for that. And this, I'm explaining. And he's like, I don't really know, need to know all of that.
Yep.
But I'm not going to pop up with stuff. I'm not going to put things secretly on a credit card or, do things without discussing it with him. Can I do it? Sure. Is my name on the credit card? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I have my own? But I'm not going to abuse that. And we shouldn't abuse the finances. We shouldn't abuse one another's trust.
Yeah. Sometimes and I guess couples, they make it work for them. They say it works for them. I just don't know. Sometimes we want to have a little bit of our own. I actually knew a couple that actually has a separate, she had her own house. Like they had two houses when they came together.
Oh yeah.
But then when they got married, the one person decided they wanted to keep the house. And I'm like, okay, why are you holding on to the house?
Because they already knew. I already know who you're talking about. They already knew that it wasn't going to work out. And it's like, I'm not going to, there was a high probability that they were going to be left high and dry again. And so I'm not going to be left high and dry. I'm going to make sure I have somewhere to go back to. And that takes us back to the root. What's behind you keeping it to yourself? You don't trust what we have. And so you have to have your own. Yeah,
I think that, and it also led to, now I wasn't privy to all the inner workings of the relationship, but I think it's with that mindset like that, you probably was hiding or restricting access to other emotional, intimate areas in your relationship. Like, oh, you can go here, but you can't, instead, don't go behind that door. What? Okay.
And what's the reason why?
What's the reason why? And long story short, that couple ended up not staying together.
Right. They ended up not staying together.
And was it just because of the separate house? I don't know. I tell you this as a...
I'm laughing because I had a little more intel than you did.
I guess I don't want to share too much because the people can figure some stuff out. They'll be like, oh, hey, wait a minute.
Oh, let me see. I wonder if it was such and such. Not your business. Not your business. And you would never be able to figure it out. But to your point, because I did know a little bit more of what was going on in that scenario, I knew that person felt like they couldn't trust them. And that go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
It just was like, wow, that's the light bulb moment.
Yeah, it's like I can't trust you, and I know that I'm gonna attempt this relationship again, but I know what your past history has been, and if you do that again, I'm not gonna be left out here. I'm gonna have somewhere to go. I'm not gonna stay with you. I'm not gonna stay with you, and I don't have security because I don't have a home. I'm gonna make sure I have a home to go to. So if you decide you want to be yourself.
Want to be yourself.
Want to be yourself.
You wouldn't be left to your own vices.
You would like to make your own choices as if you are a single person and not a married person. Then I have a home to go to. And that is a really rough place to live in. That type of relationship and relating to one another is doomed.
It's
doomed.
That is so good. I am so glad that we was able to have this conversation because I hope it helped you. If it helped you or you think they can help someone else that you know, once again, we urge you to share this video. And also we urge you also to, if you need someone to talk to, we offer a free consultation, free 30-minute consultation where we can talk to you about your relationship and, with
or without your spouse.
With or without your spouse.
Yeah. And
we'll just have a third and fourth, a third party, couples pursuit. And we're just unbiased, it's not favoritism, but we're just able to give you some advice as much as we can in that 30 minutes. And then if we decide to work together in the future, we could talk about that also. Right. So if you want to, we urge you to go to couplespursuit.com/talk and book a call. It's that simple.
It is confidential.
It doesn't cost you anything. Yes, and it's confidential. And it's I know it can help you if you're in that space right there where, you know what, Vincent, I want to be, but I have an issue with blah blah blah, you know, or we have an issue and we can't get past this point right here. 30 minutes is really short, but we'll do the best we can to try to help you out. So book a call today. And we thank you so much for joining us here on Couples in Pursuit.
And until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you, and give you peace. We'll see you again here on Couples Pursuit Live. Bye.